Once you understand some of your innate ways of approaching a problem and where you might be on your creative journey, setting goals becomes a lot easier. And also, if you know what kind of goals you're making, then everything really kind of comes into alignment. But first, I want to show you a little bit about what I feel is wrong with the ways that we set goals and how come sometimes we have things a little backwards. So, here is sort of our basic model of how a lot of us set goals. We're driven on a daily basis by our to do list. So, as a card carrying goal nerd, I've noticed some things that you may have also noticed about this. And I often have a huge to do list full of all sorts of things. Some things are important, some things are urgent, and some things are not that important. But there have been years in my life where my to-do list really ruled my life. You might say, well, of course, like how do you get anything done unless you have a to-do list? Well, I think that this problem is a problem of a foundational one. Okay, so it feels like this is sort of the Frankenstein monster way of approaching goals. We have a huge to-do list. We have some random goals, some are too big and some are too small. We're not really sure how we want to approach them. At the base of it, we're not sure what we really want to do, and we're not sure really why. So I was felt like that for a long time. And I like the idea of the hanged man in tarot, where basically the hanged man gives you a different perspective. You know, when you're looking at things upside down, your perspective is shifted. So, what I'd like to do is turn the hanged man upside right and think about it in terms of looking at things from the traditional viewpoint and then shifting that view. So, the traditional way of looking at goals, for instance, for corporations, this little slide here is kind of based on a corporate model. First, why does this business exist? This is what they think of: to sell shoes or to, you know, be a lawyer and get clients to go to law or to the courts or, to sell some other kind of product or service. So it's based on the product at the bottom. Then they start to think about, oh, what do we believe in and how we behave? And then a corporation or a product-based business says, what do we want to be in the future? And what is our game plan and how will we get there? But I feel for creative businesses, for artists, for those of us who are working on our own, we need to shift this perspective and think about it in terms of a more foundational pyramid. So I feel like for us, our values really should be at the bottom. We don't really have a product yet until we kind of know what we believe and how we behave. So as artists, we love to draw and we love to paint or sculpt or whatever. But at our core, we really know we want to express ourselves. So the idea of values is all about self-expression, is about loving color, loving the tools of art, valuing the creative process. And all of these are more values than more of a product, right? So we start with our values, what we believe and how we are going to behave. And then on that, we create a product, our art, why we exist. And then we can get the idea of where we might want to be in a few years. And then we can have an idea of where and how we are going to create the specifics and the strategy of that plan. So our schedule, hopefully, is not running us, but we are basing our schedule on our values and going up from there. Okay, so here is our list of goal setting terms in the order that you might want to think about them. So values, mission, vision first, then goals, objectives, strategy, and tactics. I'm going to define each one of these and show you how to make the best version of them. And now to illustrate, I'd like to dive into a fun example of how this might work. Okay, at the beginning of The Wizard of Oz, we've already talked about Dorothy as being on a hero's journey of sorts. Dorothy is really discontent. She is the reluctant hero. She doesn't want to go. She's not happy. She always talks about wishing upon a star and life over the rainbow, anywhere but here, anything but here. She doesn't know what she wants, but just as long as it isn't here on this little sepia-toned farm, she knows it has to be better than what she has now. What is her mission? Well, she wants to get her dog back because Miss Gulch stole Toto. But after that, what? Is she going to run away? I mean, where is she going to go? Dorothy is really lost. So again, she falls into the mistake we all do. Because she has no real purpose or idea of what she wants, she runs straight to tactics, straight to her to-do list. So Michael Hyatt defines the difference between some things that might be on our list between what is important and what is urgent. Urgent things are like when a tornado strikes, right? Or taking the kids to a dentist appointment, walking the dog, things that need to be done now or soon. And if you don't do them, something bad might happen. Important things often get put off because setting up that new art show or painting a new great work of art or doing your financial planning for the next month or whatever can wait, in quotes, right? So we need to schedule the important things, and then when they come up, act like they're urgent. Then like they need to be done because they bring us closer to our goals. So Dorothy runs straight to tactics. She just goes straight to that to-do list. She runs away. It won't help her reach her goal because she really has no idea what she wants. She's at the mercy of poor planning, the weather, the trickster, who is this gypsy who's trying to first get her money and sort of capitalize on her discontent, but luckily he has a good heart and he sends her home. So her urgent list is get out of here, run away, get her dog back, and then leave the farm. But really, that is all shifted when suddenly tragedy strikes. Sound familiar? We've had a lot of that with COVID, and I'm sure that you've gone through this feeling of what do I do next? But a lot of times our vision or our goals come into real focus when tragedy strikes, of course. Her values here are brought into focus. Her home, family, and friends. She just wants to get home and make sure everybody's safe. And that really shows that her vision or her desired future position shifts when her values shift. So because of her home, family, and friends, she suddenly wants to be at home and she wants to appreciate what she has. So she gets taken away to the land of Oz and plopped down in Oz. And suddenly she has a mission to be home with her family and friends and to appreciate that. So that's her vision or her future desired position. Suddenly her mission, which is why you exist and how to get to your vision, which is really general, her mission is to get home and to help her friends. She meets these mentors and new friends along the way, and her goal and her mission is to really bring them all together. So her next goal, or rather her first goal, is go and see the wizard and get him to help her. So it's pretty broad, right? So a goal is what needs to be accomplished. We need to get to that wizard so he can help her go home. An objective is like the next level. It's more specific. You think that they're very similar. Get to the wizard and go to the Emerald City. but one is a little bit more specific and tangible than the other one. Okay, so how is she going to do that? Your approach is your strategy. How to do those actions? Well, she's going to follow the yellow brick road. She's taken advice from Glinda the Good, and she's going to follow that yellow brick road to the Emerald City to get the wizard to help her so she can accomplish her mission of getting home and getting to help her friends. And what tactic is she going to take? That's more specific. So specific steps of the strategy. This is the to-do list. Wear the ruby slippers and start walking. So she has to go through her own hero's journey to get here, as we all do. But it really brings everything into alignment when you realize that your values are what drives everything. Your values also give you a sense of what your future desired position might be, and then why you exist and how to get there.